Yes, hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm glad that you are joining our podcast today, and I'm glad that you had a good and fruitful day or night, depending with where you are listening from us. So I'm here because of a very serious activity today. Uh, we are honored and grateful. We will be joined by one of the person who want to do or to be our president in Kenya. Just as you are aware, our platform is usually ready to talk with anyone. Our platform remains unaffiliated. We are not considering anyone. For ours is for people to come and they say what they want to do for the Kenyans, and the Kenyans are they be allowed to make their decision. Yeah. So always when you are entering the studio, it's also good to allow the camera and the mic too. So, Madam Esther, just maybe if you are listening to me, you can allow the microphone and allow the microphone and the camera to the YouTube to not to stream you. So if you don't release them, you'll not be able to join the studio. Wacha nikuandikie. Let me. Okay, give me 1 minute. Yeah. Nilikuwa nimekupata. Okay. I think Ambassador Esther, you can click the camera. It's also good to be viewed. But anyway, as I wait for her to be ready, because I can see she is getting it. I just wanted to text. Yeah, that way is okay. Let me get you in.
Okay.
Yeah, Madam Esther, I can. Oh, sorry. You. Uh, once you're in a state whereby I can allow you to the studio, I will be able to allow you to the studio. So maybe you can just you can prepare yourself. Is okay. Yeah, you have like around. We have close to 6 minutes before we kick off the main thing. So just make sure your camera is on. Yeah, because I think Kenyans would also want to watch you as well. Yeah, yeah. Now it's good. The only thing you need to do is just press the camera, so that. As we are aware, Kenyans are desperate looking for a president, and we are taking this exercise as very key. If you look at the way the political environment in Kenya is playing, there is all the emergency of wanting to have a good president. I don't think we have yet located, and Kenyans are coming out and saying that they want to be the presidents of Kenya, and it's something we are taking it too dearly. There are those who are intending. There are those who have already formed coalitions, and some who are trying to do different things here and there, trying to convince Kenyans. So right now, Kenya is at a crossroad because there are there are so many issues which are happening in Kenya, and Kenyans feel frustrated by their leadership. So that is why we are taking these exercises. It's very key. So, as you are aware, we have always been in this platform trying to discuss the issues which are in Kenya. As you are aware as well, there is a lot of dissatisfaction from Ruto, our current president. So there's no question about that. There is a need of replacement. So that's not something we are hiding. Kenyans feel frustrated by Mr. William Ruto. That is the information which is there outside, and that's why we are willing to talk with so many other people who want to do presidential talks. And yes, Karibu If Mwangi, you are among the earliest arrivals. Thank you very much. So nawakaribisha sana, so feel free. Today I will try to avoid Swahili so much. Today I want to be a little bit on English. So I will try to communicate in English language close to 90%. If there will be anything with the Swahili, around 10%, unless from public demand kama mtataka Swahili. But today I wanted to be a little bit hata if asikie kizungu yangu. Unajua, usifikiriange all the time sisi ni watu ya mavembeine. Anyway, karibuni. Yeah, let me follow up on something. I'm here. You can engage. Today we are having a very serious, we are having a very serious talk. We are having a very serious talk here with Madam President. So I'm waiting for Madam Ambassador Esther Waringa. Yeah, we really prepared for this event, and we have to hold it. Anyway, wacha nijaribu kutafuta yeye. Yeah, you can give me like 2-3 minutes. I will be back. So, so our discussion, we are entirely going to dissect the Kenyan problem. So I will want Madam Esther. She will be able to take us through the Kenyan problem, how we can solve them, and then she take us through her vision. Before now, we can have some rejoinder questions here and there. So let me follow up on her briefly. Give me like 2-3 minutes. I will be back. So I'll just mute it. So hata mkiona nimemute, I'm just allowing people to get in, but I'll be back shortly. Yeah, thank you very much. Can you hear me clearly, Madam Ambassador Esther Waringa?
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
Yeah, thank you very much. I hope our audience is now aware that we will shortly be beginning our interview. And let me take this chance to introduce myself to you. I know that we have not interacted, but these spaces are places where we are interacting. And I'm really very grateful that you have been able to interact with us. And through this platform, you'll be able to interact with so many people, and so many people will be able to hear your vision. Maybe to put into your information is that Kenya is desperate for leadership, and I know that's the reason why you are coming here.
Yes.
There is a lot of frustration of the current leadership. It is not something which we are hiding. That is what we are hearing. That is what
Yeah.
Kenyans are saying, and Kenyans feel they need to recruit another person.
Yes.
That is what Kenyans feel they need to recruit another person. Who to be recruited is now the big question. Kenyans have not been able to identify properly, and that's why many people are coming and agreeing. What so on that platform is the basis of our interaction. Feel
Yeah.
free. Our platform is a bit neutral. We do not ponder for anyone. We allow people to percolate the information which they have with a view of understanding them. So feel free to share your information without fearing that we could do dangerous things to your information. No, we are here specifically to make sure that we understand every qualified Kenyan, because for the last 60 years we have been joking with the Kenyan leadership, and we now feel a time of joking has ended. Now we want Kenyans to feel
Yes.
that feel. So with that, I will allow you to introduce yourself to Kenyans, and maybe we know you, at least so that we can know the person we are speaking with. My name is Jiro Maura, and I usually do this podcast. Hiyo ndile mambo nafanyanga hapa. Go ahead.
Okay, very well. Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. My name is Ambassador Esther Waringa. I've been currently I'm the president of Public Service Governance, and for me, bottom line, responsible, accountable government of integrity. That is what we need. And I must say that it's true. Kenyans are desperate for leadership. Kenyans are desperate for another person to recruit, but the person is here. I know the forum is neutral, but we must all agree that we must make tough decisions at this point in time. It has not been easy for Kenyans. It has not been easy for Wanjiko. It has not been easy for the business, micro business entrepreneurs. It has not been easy for our mamambogas, our bodabodas. Neither has it been easy for our children in school. It's not easy for those who are in hospitals. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not easy for those who are earning less than $1 a day in this country. Life has been tough, but the paradigm that we need is here. The new Kenya that we need is coming up, and it's time to turn the new page. It's time to turn a new page now. It's time to turn around a new chapter. It's time for a fresh and new administration. It's time for an administration that knows what we mean by depoliticizing governance and government. We cannot be playing politics 24/7 and progress as a country. We cannot continue stealing in government and progress as a country. We cannot continue doing politics towards enriching oneself and progress the economy. So here we are, and we are committed. And until it is done, Ambassador Esther is not about to give up this journey. I've done it before. I think Kenyans are aware. We are already a brand in this country. We have several awards for promoting good governance in this country. And we are crossing our fingers that we are ready to deliver Kenya out of the mud, out of the pit, out of the dungeon that this country is in. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Madam Ambassador, for for that introduction. I know we will continue knowing each other, especially about the issues. But I want to now go to and start with our interview of today. And our interview of today is going to have 3 sections, maybe for our viewers so that they can be able to understand. We intended to have an interview of around 90 minutes with 3 broad sections. The first section, we want to handle the Kenyan problems. We want to understand, is Kenya having problems or it is just propaganda? Then the second section, we will be dealing with do we have solutions? And then the third section, Madam Ambassador will try to tell us on her personal capacity, how is she intending to fix those issues? So if we are able to progress in that direction, it will be good. So, Madam Ambassador, I'm usually I like listening, so that's why I never disrupt people. So when you see me
very good,
completely quiet, don't think that I'm not here, because I like giving somebody that time to talk about themselves. So I don't like in disrupting. So we have 30 minutes now to talk about the Kenyan problems. So I want to give you that time. You explain to us the Kenyan problems and how you understand them. Go ahead.
Very well. Thank you very much. As I said earlier, I think I did my introduction. And for those who have just joined, I'm Ambassador Esther Waringa, currently the President of Public Service Governance and the 6th President of the Republic of Kenya. And of course, the first woman president lady to establish the first woman-led government. Not that men cannot, but what men can do, women can do better. So, and I believe that with our concerted efforts, we are able to move together. Now, the problems of Kenya, it's quite huge. It's quite, I'm not sure how to put it, but Kenyans basically are suffering almost in every sector. Up to now, there are many children who are suffering in the education sector. Number one, the transition rates have gone so low because of lack of conducive environment for our children being in the classrooms. We are aware that even now the JSS has a challenge. So most of the children who are supposed to transit to JSS until now have not had adequate classrooms, adequate books, adequate teachers. So, and of course, streamlining CBC. And of course, with our university, for the first time, we are having challenges with our public universities. And these are some of the things that must be checked into. First of all, we must depoliticize the education sector. 2 days ago, we heard that there is no money for exams. We cannot play around with the education for our children. We cannot play around with education for the children of the Republic of Kenya. We are all aware that education is the key to justice and progress. Education is the beginning. We are here and we are talking the way we are talking because we went to school. If our children are not given that conducive environment to be in the classroom, then we are breaking the nation. The nation is moving on a downward trajectory on matters education. The other thing is food. Since 1963, when we got self-independence as a country, why not have we not streamlined the food security sector in the country, knowing that the soils in the country are quite good, knowing that we have arable land for farming, we have a lot of water for farming in this country, yet there are families today who are sleeping hungry. But because we have politicized every sector of the economy in this country, including the food sector, then we are not able to progress on matters food security in the country. That will be one of my biggest responsibility as a mother to the nation, that every child, every household must have enough food for themselves and even for donating to the neighbor. Because a country without food is a finished nation. So food security is priority. And that's another problem that we are going through as a country. And I repeat that it's not that we don't have land. We have. Not that we don't have water. We have. It's not that we don't have the knowledge on good farming. We have. But because politics basically praise the center stage in this country. So I'm coming to depoliticize the public service of the Republic of Kenya. I'm coming to ensure that services are delivered without playing politics with service delivery in the Republic of Kenya. And I am sure that we are taking it up. The other problem is water. I'm not sure until now why every household in the Republic of Kenya cannot access clean drinking water. And it is so unfortunate because today, even in the places we call high-end places in Nairobi, there is shortage of water. What is happening in this country? We have privatized some of these government development projects that are supposed to be given by the government to the people of Kenya seamlessly. So water, what is really happening? I'm ready to take it up. I'm ready to ensure that and I'm not doing these promises for the sake of promising Kenyans. No, 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 no. I will be a silent girl in the government, but my actions will be seen. I can't wait to have every household enjoy sufficient water for drinking, for cooking, and water for household use. I can't wait to see every woman have a tap of water running in their houses. I can't wait to see women in Northeastern Belt, the Turkana, the Madera, the Moyare. I can't wait, Ukambani, part of even Central Kenya and Kajiado. I can't wait to have adequate water in the Republic of Kenya. The other problem that Kenyans are going through is health. A healthy nation is a wealthy nation. And a country, a nation that does not prioritize health is a poor nation. Unfortunately, I must continue to say that we cannot continue playing around with the lives of people. Hospitals must learn. Our health systems must work efficiently and seamlessly. We must know and understand that health is the anchor upon which every human being lives. Without health, I'm not sure that we can be able to survive as a nation. Health must be a priority. I'm looking forward to a reign where and an administration where doctor strike will come to an end. It is very sad that we pay so much money to the elected representatives and forgetting the technocrats who are working in our ministries of government, including our health practitioners. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, a time for a turnaround is here with you. And we are not atucheki sana because we must deliver Kenya. And Kenyans, I'm ready for you. I'm coming, Mashinani. I'm coming. These problems must come to an end. The other problem is corruption. We have technically eaten into the taxpayers' money. The taxes are paid, revenues are generated, but services are not given to the people who pay taxes. The money goes to the pockets of a few. They continue enjoying their great lifestyles. They continue enjoying every coin that comes from Kenyans' pocket, but Kenyans are without services. It's time for a paradigm shift. It's time to turn the page. It's time that Kenya must breathe life. And as your 6th president, I'm not joking around. We are here to deliver. We are here to deliver one of the most progressive cabinet ministers who have not been there before. It's time for a fresh beginning. Those who are committed selflessly to their country. So that is another problem, health, and we are sure that we are going to address it. I mean, corruption, that we are going to address it. And I want to task the agencies of government, even before I get into government as the 6th president, that the DCI, the DPP, our investigative agencies, our DPP, we must ensure that, and the judiciary, that cases are pertaining to corruption, and of course, ethics and anti-corruption commission. We must ensure that any case pertaining to theft in government is addressed within the shortest time possible, executed, and those who are involved brought to book and put behind bars. Kenyans have suffered theft in government. The money that they are paying as taxes is being stolen by a few. And I'm sure that the EACC and the DCI are going to take, and the judiciary. And I hail the judiciary because they have reduced the timeline that such cases are executed, so that very quickly we fast track corruption decapitation. There's a problem that we are experiencing in the country is poor governance or bad governance. For the longest time, we have been singing the song, especially as the head and president of public service governance. We have been talking about why don't we bring or employ competent people in government, people who merit, people who have the capacity to read, people who have capacity to read, like some of the powerful and progressive transformative ministries, like the Ministry of Health, Ministry of Public Service, Ministry of Education, Ministry of Energy. Today, Kenyans are crying. 100 shillings goes for 3.5 in their tokens. Units, 3.5 units. Kenya Power, where are you? Will Kenyans continue crying under your leadership? It's time for a paradigm shift. It's time for people to go home. Literally, people will go home. If I had the authority today and right now to send people home, I would send people home so that Kenyans can breathe life. It is very, very wrong that with 100 shillings, a mama boga, a youth in Kimbira, buys token and is only given 3.5 units. What's happening to our energy sector? Translate that to the manufacturing part of it. That is why investors are technically pouring out of this country, because they cannot sustain the energy cost, the manufacturing cost, which is too high. Energy, another problem. So, Mr. Njiro, the problems are so much. And
Yeah,
finally,
I have now understood you.
yes.
So maybe before you go to the next phase, I want now to concentrate with some of the problems which you have said. I know others will handle them as we talk, but I want us to concentrate on corruption and bad governance, because for me they are so passionate, and I know there are so many. So Kenya, you are talking of being the sixth president, so meaning that we are 5 in a line.
Yeah.
Why is it that we don't seem to have capacity to solve this issue of corruption? Every person who wants to get into power, he says that I will deal with the corruption. Then immediately they get into leadership. 2 years down the line, we are hearing of mega scandals. What's wrong with that? Like, why is it that corruption cannot be solved? It's a story, perennial story.
Yeah, 3 things. 1, lack of political goodwill. 2, our systems. 3, the way we conduct our public service level of efficiency. Number 1, lack of political goodwill. You realize that politicians should be and must be in the front line on matters corruption decapitation. But unfortunately, they are in the front line. Doing what? Routing money from poor Kenyans. For what? Campaign.
Okay.
I think for the longest time,
okay,
I've been talking about...
Just a minute. I want to add you something. One reason, maybe I just wanted to tell you one of the reasons why we are having corruption, and you tell me how you are doing about it, because that one is something which will touch you directly.
Yeah.
One of the reasons why corruption in Kenya is very high is because of the cost people use to get into power.
Yes.
The cost people use to get into power. And I want to, maybe without saying much, because I don't have evidence for that, I had like Kibake used like close to, during Kibake time, they were using like 35 billion to get into power. Uhuru Kenyatta, some of the people, some of the rumors we hear, somebody like Uhuru Kenyatta used like 10 billion to get into power. And Raila Odinga was also using almost an equivalent amount of money. Then when it came to Ruto and Raila Odinga, because of also the cost of living and also the amount of people they needed to buy, they used close to 20, 30 billion. So the question which I wanted to ask you is, why
Mm-hmm.
do presidential candidates use more money even than their wealth? Like what would, and maybe you can explain to me, do you have 20 billion to get into power?
Mm-hmm. Good, thank you. I don't need 20 billion to get into power, neither do I need 10 billion. I'm not sure I'm going to use that amount of money if I'm to be a responsible president of the Republic of Kenya. And I'm not sure that my campaigns and Kenya will see for themselves. And they have seen because I've started. They have seen that this is a very unique campaign. Number one, IBC must come up with rules and regulation on how to govern and control campaigns expenditure. Uh, for the longest time, I've been talking about Kenya without elections, the Kenya bila uchaguzi bill. I don't want to go deep into it right now, but it is my greatest responsibility once I take over government to ensure that I bring general elections to an end. This is a process that has stolen. This is a process that every other, after 5 years, I remember His Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta, he said that 2 years after elections, the economy cripples down. And thinking that you're going to recover
Yeah, I've lost Madam President, but I know she'll be coming back. But you are hearing, you are hearing her point of injection. This issue of corruption, is what has been bedeviling everybody. And I can say, like Phoebe Onyango is saying, yeah, it is true. Like we are hearing, like University of Nairobi is collapsing. So, Madam President, what I'll do is I will get you out momentarily, and you come back. That is the easiest way. So I'll just be patient to wait for you. So you can click your link again. If there was a hitch, we can be able to get you back. Anyway, but I hope you are continuing to hear Madam President and what she is saying. Yeah, she feels to have that passion of wanting to change Kenya. Kenya is having too many problems that we can be talking of all these issues, and we have leaders. It's a wonder. Eh, maybe let me mention some of the issues which she has talked about. She has talked about education, where she talked about the the CBC, and the money for examination is not there. We don't know where it is going. For information we received from the news the other day that the University of Nairobi is collapsing. She talked about food security. You can see very well. Kenya, we are at a point whereby we cannot be able to raise enough food for our people. Yeah. Yet some desert countries are able to have enough food and even export to us. Countries like in Saudi Arabia, they are doing those things. She talked about clean water. Is a shock up to now, in 21st century, 2025. We are talking about people not having enough water, and a good one. Yeah, this one is right against human rights. We cannot be talking about people not having clean water. Wacha nilete Madam tena. We cannot be talking about people not having clean water. Anyway, I was just going through the issues which you talked about. She talked about health. Maybe you can give me 1 minute.
yeah.
Health. She talked about the issues of doctor strikes. I don't think that one we can be able to solve for now. That one I will expect a solution from you. I don't think we can get the issues of corruption. That one we cannot solve. I would expect an answer from you. Bad governance. One of the reasons why these issues of bad governance which we have, and maybe I want to tell you this so that you can also maybe tell me what we are going to do. Frankly speaking, Madam President, we are overrepresented. So maybe I want you tell me, like what is your general opinion? Somebody had tried to come with a very good idea, but it was beaten by politicians who enjoy from this political power. But I would like you to explain to me, even if we many people and many lawyers, they always tell us that we are one of the most progressive country in the world. But tell me, why would Kenya have a constitution which is allowing 47 governors, 47 senators, almost 350 members of parliament who are together with women there, MCAs who are close to 3,000. Then the governor is there with also another list of so many elected people and nominated people. Is that lineup okay? Does Kenya need all those people for management?
Very well. If you look at my manifesto, I've talked about addressing the issue of representation, reducing on representation. And for me, actually, as your sixth president, I'm able to function with only two centers of power: the national government and parliament. Otherwise, any other organ, elective organ, like the governors, the senators, the deputy governors, the women reps, the senators, the 1,450 MCAs, we don't need all these people. And this is where our wage bill, our money is lost as a country. This constitution must be revised under my administration. I know between now and next elections, we don't have time for a referendum, because every constitutional amendment process that touches on the structures of government must be subjected to a referendum. So we're gonna do elections this time, fine, but we must, as a people, as a country, sit down and review and ensure that we reduce on the wage bill. Some of these organs do not really add value to the governance of this country. And that is why some of these offices, they have become centers of power, but and they have been taking so much money from the exchequer, but the services are very poor. And I want to ask a question which probably need to be answered by the governors. What have we achieved in devolution since Constitution 2010? Since we established the 47 counties, what can we say Wanjiko has achieved in terms of water? Until now, we are having water problems in many of the counties. Until now, health problems are all over in many of the counties. Education is a problem in many of the counties. The biggest question is devolution working? And if asked, for me, I will bring devolution to an end. And I will replace, let me finish on that one. And I will replace devolution with a system of government that will ensure, will ensure establishment of ministries of government at the provincial level. The former 12 provinces, 8 provinces of Kenya, of course, for efficiency, we can increase them to 12, and then we can be able to devolve the ministries of government. Otherwise, having all these senators, governors, MPs, MCAs, it's not helping. It has not helped. It has eaten into our huge wage bill. And of course, it has added to corruption. Why? Because all these elective offices, all these elected representatives are looking for campaign money. How will they get campaign money? Stealing in government. Why? And I want to thank God that we have one of the most progressive brains coming up as a chair of IBC, Mr. Evercon, and having worked with the United Nations and other progressive agencies. I want to believe that he'll be able to ensure that IBC is not anymore a place where we play football and handball and basketball and every other ball. That IBC becomes a place of integrity, a place where we want to know, why should a presidential candidate spend 10 billion? And how are they going to recover that money if not stealing from government? We want to hear how much money is a presidential candidate supposed to spend. And to the people of Kenya around me to talk to you, that time for us to be given 200, 500 to elect the candidates is over. It's time for us as Kenyans to define who is a leader and what is leadership. Allow me to say that time to bribe voters has come to an end. And Mr. Evercon, Madam Anne Derito and your team, it's high time that we put very stringent measures and rules that will govern the electoral process for 2027. Okay. Otherwise, we are folding our sleeves. We are ready for this fight to make Kenya
There's something I want
again.
to ask you, Madam President. 1 minute. There's something I want to ask you about. I know it is something I want us maybe you can help to explain us, because I feel it is something which could recur again. There is this thing which was called the Gen Z revolution in Kenya. Gen Z revolution in Kenya. And very many young people have disappeared. When they wanted after they questioned their government, and because of this technology revolution, even though there are so many places whereby people can be able to vent and talk about their governance. So maybe in a few explanation,
Yes.
can you tell us about are young people in Kenya right in what they are doing? Because there is a serious silent revolution of young people, and we could see it in 2027 or earlier, where young people are becoming disobedient to leadership to the extent that they are becoming violent.
Very
Do you
well.
understand what it means from the young people?
Yes. I understand what it means for our young people. Look at the level of joblessness. Look at the number of our young people graduating from universities every season, every year. And where do they go? To the streets as hawkers, or maybe mama bogas, or to jobs that really they did not they did not deserve. In that regard, the pain. Look at our young people seeing their parents not able to put food on the table. Look at our young people seeing their parents having huge loans, and the loans that they are not able to pay to take them through school. And then after taking them through school, they go to the streets as hawkers. They are at home because of lack of jobs. It's a high time that we have a government that has a heart of the people, of the young people in them. And in this regard, our young people are demanding their constitutionally given right. They have a right to enjoy and work and live in their country. They have a right to have a conducive environment, business environment, where they are able to establish their small scale businesses and the businesses thrive. But when we see what I have just talked about, that 100 shillings you only give you 3.5 units of token, tell me of a young person who is operating a media house or something related to energy. How much are they spending? It's all about creating a conducive environment for our young people to get jobs, creating a conducive environment for our young people to employ themselves. Those who are employing themselves in small and micro enterprises, look at the number of permits and business permits. I don't know, they're supposed to pay what. It's quite, even just the capital to open that business. And then the sustenance from energy to everything else. And
Yeah. Okay.
even,
Thank you,
yes, the
Madam President.
customers. Because, okay, let me finish. Yeah,
Okay.
so it becomes a problem for young people. So it is a paradigm shift. We are ready for it.
Okay, let me. I want to go to the specificity of how we can change our nation, and maybe you tell me how you would work towards that. There is a joke which people always say that Kenya and maybe Africans, we cannot even make a toothpick. Like it's like we are serious consumer nations. We import everything, and it is true. You will see that we have even reached to an extent whereby we even import what we eat, we import what we wear. So many of industrialized countries, if I may talk of that, they talk of you cannot create jobs without industrialization and manufacturing. When we are talking of industrialization, is having capacity to have large ventures which can absorb large number of peoples, and those ventures are distributed in the respective neighborhoods. They are not just in Nairobi alone. The other day I was looking at industrial area, which is the most famous place whereby any person who want to work in manufacturing or in industries in Kenya, people think of going to industrial area, a place which is not expanding. The way industrial area looked in 1970 is the way industrial area looks now, when the population of Kenya has even like quadrupled. Now the question which I'm asking you is, all the time people who want to become president, they tell us that I will create jobs, I will create jobs, but they are not able to tie together on like to what details of jobs are they looking at? Maybe is it possible for you to tell me, like, because the sad story is that in Kenya, let's not talk about graduates alone, because sometimes I always see that we concentrate with the graduates. Everybody needs a job, whether you are a graduate or not. That is the bottom line of society existence. But the question which I'm asking, is it possible for you? You explain to me. How can you be able to put like 100,000 people in jobs every year? Maybe
Thank
help
you
me to
very much.
understand that.
It is very easy. Creating jobs in Kenya is very, very easy. And creating jobs is not taking people out of their country for jobs in UAE, jobs in Asia, jobs. Create jobs within your country. And it is very, very possible to do it. Number one, industrialization. Why are we buying toothpicks out of the country? Why are we buying eggs? Why are we buying so many of these things? Why are we exporting raw coffee, raw tea, instead of processing everything within the Republic of Kenya? I must say that industrialization and my government, my incoming sixth government, we are totally committed to industrialize the country. And I thought that this would be done by our governors. Because for the longest time, we have been talking about the fruits of devolution. Go to Homa Bay, we have cotton. We must have industries that will process cotton to the last product, to the end product, value addition at Homa Bay County. Go to Machakos, where we have mangoes, and Mombasa, we would want mangoes processed and value added to an export standard product. You go to every other jurisdiction, every other county in this country, go to Turkana, you will find that we don't need a Kenya Meat Commission at Adliva. We need a Kenya Meat Commission in Northeastern. Go to Kisii, you will know that you don't need to transport bananas and sugarcane to Wakurima market in Nairobi. You need to process these products right at the grassroots of Kisii so that you can create jobs in Kisii. I only ask Kenyans to watch this space. Within a short time of my administration, this is gonna happen. And we shouldn't do it when thinking and deploying political games in it. It has to be a pure public service delivery agenda. Not like mtu wetu, watu wetu, kuja kwetu utengeneze miwa, kuja kwetu utengeneze. It is so sad that even the region that is supposed to benefit from sugar, the Mumias, the Sony Sugar, that we are privatizing these agencies instead of the government owning it 100%, so that they are able to inject more money towards production, injecting more money towards processing, injecting more money towards value addition, so that the farmer can benefit. How many government agencies are we going to privatize that are supposed to create jobs for our people? And unfortunately, even water companies in Nairobi and the entire Republic of Kenya have been privatized, sorry. And unfortunately, the water service that Kenyans are supposed to get free of charge, you can see what we are going through with the water. How much are we paying? And again, cartels are all over, buying trucks and selling water to Kenyans. Okay, that is not where I am. Where I am is that we will industrialize the country to ensure that our youths, one industry can employ ICT managers and AI managers. One company can employ salespeople and marketers. One company can be able to employ accountants. One company, come on, how many industries are we able to establish in our 47 counties? And how many people are these industries going to employ? And how much of the foreign income that we are going to earn through the export of the value added products to other countries? The culture of importing toothpicks, the culture of importing eggs, rice, every other time must come to an end. I must say before I give you back that we have been a country that have been surviving on substandard goods. Where is the Kenya Bureau of Standards? And I think I am coming. The no-nonsense president, Kenya Bureau of Standard. You must ensure that every item before we get it to the market, that it is taken care of. I'm not impressed by the number of counterfeits. Where is the consumer protection law in all this? So we look forward to a country that will be fully industrialized. You go to UK, you buy products and goods that are of quality. Go to US, you buy quality goods. What about Kenya? Quality, our manufacturing of poor quality goods. So we are coming. Kenya must be industrialized, and this will create jobs to a great extent. Thank you.
Okay, I appreciate that. So I just wanted to tell the comment section, don't worry. Some of the questions you are putting there, I will be asking them as we go along. Yeah, maybe as a comment, Ambassador Waringa, is that there are so many people in diaspora who are saying that they are ready to help. So maybe in your next presentation, you can also try to also maybe talk to some of the diaspora people who are also very popular in our show here. You try to explain to us how you will be able to synergize, because we have very qualified people everywhere, and some of them actually they just get frustrated when they see some of the things which are happening in their nation and they are not being involved. Away from that, I wanted to, that issue of substandard things, it has just actually come into my mind, and I just wanted to explain to you something, which it's a big industry in developed countries, the issue of standardization of goods. You see, like if it's an avocado, they have just everything is standardized. Like there's nothing which is coming from the bushes. You are eating things which you don't know where they are coming from. To the extent that we are now having people consuming so many products. There was a guy called Kyoko Mangeri. I think he died, but in 2007. In 2007, there was a aflatoxin maize. There was an interview which was done even before I come to Moses Kuria, who actually got injured by a substandard commodity which he had bought. He was interviewed some time back, but it was so shameful that it was a government officer who was talking about substandard goods. So Kyoko Mangeri said that in the next 15 years, the cancer calamity which will be in Kenya, it will be like something which has not been seen. And true to his word, it was in 2007, after post-election violence. 15 years was around 2022. And so many cancer cases started sprouting in Kenya. And for real, right now, we have lost so many people on this disease, which Kenyans are not understanding it. And, we don't have enough facilities, like even to research on it and to know how we can even de-organize it. So maybe in terms of that, what would be your take, or what would be your concept on perennial diseases, or these diseases which spend a lot of money on the economy? How would you handle them, like cancer, because it's becoming a disaster, cancer and other ailments?
Well, very well. Number one, we would want to, as a government, to get to the root causes of all these diseases that are affecting our people, because until you get to the root cause and get to know, why do we have cancer? Why do we have TB? Why do we have malaria? Why do we have all other diseases and that are taking the rise of our people? And then number two, what are the mitigation mechanisms that can be put into place to avoid so many people of our people being affected or being sickly? Yeah, and then what mechanisms are we putting in our health systems, and especially on matters health, on matters drugs, on matters vaccines? What are we doing as a country? How much budget are we putting into this? And not really going back to devolution, but how well have we been able to devolve the health sector in terms of the dispensaries? How close are hospitals to Wananchi? How close are hospitals to Wananchi? Did I see the other day, I can't remember which region it was, that a woman or a lady who wanted to give birth, she was carried in a wheelbarrow She was carried in a wheelbarrow to go and give birth to the hospital, which is very, very shameful for our country. So we should take our dispensaries to the closest, or our hospitals rather, to the closest proximity area of where Wananchi can be able to access these services, and not only have the buildings. We also need drugs, because that's another problem that Kenyans have been going through, not accessing drugs. And then finally, we have been having cases of so many people who have been ailing of cancer, going to India, going to other countries, and it has been quite expensive for them. Why don't we invest in our own medical equipment that is supposed to treat cancer, that is supposed to take care of all these diseases? Therefore, that's why we are saying prudent use of government money. Some of the money that is supposed to be used to buy this medical equipment is going to people's pockets, unfortunately. So that's why we have to ensure that we decapitate corruption completely. And when we decapitate corruption, then we are assured that the economy of Kenya will grow, and we will have enough money even to take care of the most expensive medical equipments. Why would you go to India? Because of the sophisticated equipment, medical equipment. Why would you go to UK, US? Yeah. So we would want to make our hospitals to be those hospitals that people from the US can come and seek medical attention here. People from UK, people from India can book appointments in Kenya. And I tell you, this is the vibrant economy that the administration of Ambassador Waringa is bringing on board. We must turn around Kenya. Kenya is a beautiful country. Kenya, by the way, has a lot of money, my brother, and Kenyans, if I may share with you this, that we have a lot of money. But because of theft, because of mismanagement of government money, because of incompetence, even of those who are in leadership, that's why we end up here. Watch the space once I take over government. I can't wait. I'm asking, I wish it is tomorrow, and I'm able to turn around things. However, I'm doing small things in my own way. I think Kenyans know this, that I've been doing the small things in my own small way to enhance good governance in the country. And I'm not tired yet. I'm continuing to ensure that good governance is realized even before I take over government. Thank you.
Okay. Wow. I wish the Kenya you are describing to me is seeable in the next generation. I wish that what you're explaining can actually be the reality, because it's amazing. So let me talk about before I go to some of the questions which people are asking me here. Let's speak something brief about tax. We hear that, and we feel it, that Kenya is one of the highly taxed nation in the society, in the world. Let me describe a certain worker. There is a worker who will pay a payee of 30% of the money which is earning. If you are working somewhere, you pay a pay of 30% depending with your salary bracket. The same worker will go to the shop, and everything which he is buying is subjected to another VAT, another taxation called VAT, which they will charge 16%. And if this same worker will also want maybe to buy like something like a car or something else, he will also be subjected to other VATs, or to other forms of taxes. The question which I'm trying to ask, and now we are even hearing that they could actually increase this taxation VAT from 16 to 18 in the next finance bill, which I don't think maybe people will accept if they start talking of 18%. I think wanaitisha maandamano ingine. So the question which I'm trying to ask, how comes we are this highly taxed and we are not seeing the benefit of this money? And if in that regard, must we be taxed this way so that Kenya can get the money it gets? What would be your tax regime?
Thank you very much. My tax regime, I think Kenyans have seen in my manifesto, tax 5%. And I will completely do away with double taxation, because what you are explaining to me is double taxation, where a Kenyan attracts taxation 2 times, in various sectors. Unfortunately, this is because of poor systems. Kenya can be able to thrive as an economy with only 5% taxation. I know I will reduce that gradually from 16 we go to 10, from 10 to 7, and ultimately, by the time my economy will be stabilizing, we will be at 5% taxation, because it is doable. It is about streamlining systems. It is about sealing the loopholes of corruption. It is about industrializing the country. It is about ensuring that we open up markets, enhance bilateral and multilateral trade, and ensure that we create Kenya, or we build Kenya as an economic hub. And this is very, very, very achievable. But if we go to 18% taxation, this is killing the economy. Sometimes we ask ourselves, is too much taxes, is too much taxation a means to economic stability? No. In fact, sometimes too much taxations kill an economy, because go to a business person who is attracting or incurring a double taxation. How will that business survive so that that person can sustainably be able to pay their taxes? It is impossible. When that person is tagged a tax value of 18%, then what happens to their business? Their business will collapse and they will not be able to pay the taxes that they are anticipated to pay. So the best medicine, one, will be to reduce taxation, ensure we stabilize the economy through industrialization, ensure that we reduce or we do away with borrowing. By the way, Jiru, it's good for me to let you know that my administration will run government without borrowing. It is very, very, very possible. Consider the amount of borrowing that we do vis-a-vis the amount of money that we lose every day. Did you listen one day to President Uhuru Kenyatta saying that we lose 2 billion shillings a day, and then we go ahead and borrow the same or more amount than that? Come on, we must be able to balance. We must be able to decapitate corruption, and we must be able to seal all loopholes of wastage in
Madam
government.
President, kidogo, Madam
Yes,
President,
yes.
I want to advance that question kidogo.
Yes.
Nataka ku-advance lakini this issue of borrowing, this one we will need more evidence from your manifesto, because even Ruto told us the same. Ruto told us that he will not be borrowing, and we are now seeing it.
Yeah, we can do without borrowing.
Yeah, he said that specifically. So that's why I'm saying maybe to give you a small advice. I'm not in your presidential team, but just to give you a small advice. When you are telling, when you will be telling Kenyans that you run your country without borrowing, please have a balance sheet. Try to tell us the amount of money and where you'll collect it, because personally, this is a statement I will not believe again. Because
okay.
And not for her.
Esther is not any other presidential candidate who have come. And I'm not saying this to appease anyone. I'm saying, consider how much money we are losing, 2 billion shillings every day. That is almost equivalent to the amount of money that we are borrowing, or even more. So if we seal the loopholes of wastage and decapitate corruption and reduce on wage bill, why should we borrow? Thank you.
Okay, okay. You know, Kabrian, before I get you out of the taxation, you are always talking of corruption. The question which I'm asking is like, there are some countries whereby corrupt people are even killed, and that is why like those people, they don't steal. So what would be your policy to fight corruption? Because the only policy for me, that is me. I'm not saying that you become a little bit extreme like me. Personally, I believe the only way in which you can fight corruption is only to kill people who are involved with this. But this other, you are saying take to court, doing what? Personally, I don't feel it can work, because they have been tried everywhere. They have been tried everywhere. Well. They don't seem to work.
I would not say that we hang people. I think we want people to live, but we would want them to change the way they do things. We would not also want to have thieves. But hanging people is nowhere in my administration. And I would want people to change their mindset. It's about changing the culture. Jiru is about changing the culture. It's about Jiru saying, I am not corruptible as a Kenyan. Neither can I give to corrupt anyone. It's about Kenyans making tough decisions about their country on matters corruption. It starts with you. That you go to that market, you go to that shop, you buy a matchbox. A matchbox costs 5 shillings, and instead of 5 shillings, you give 10 shillings. You are not given change. It starts from there. It starts from where a shopkeeper will tell himself that I will not reduce the number of matchsticks in a matchbox. Come on, it starts with oneself. It starts at the household level, and this is a culture. Listen, my administration will ensure that we secure enough funding for culture train, because a culture change, like we call them okay, it's running off my mind, counselors who are able to train and educate Kenyans. That look, we can be able to change our culture. The way we think that you go to any government office, before you get your ID, you must bribe 2,000 shillings. Before you go to before you get your your passport, you must bribe with 2,000 shillings. You go to matatu sector, askari akipita hapo, ati ni lazima umpatie 50 shillings. Why are you giving 50 shillings to a cops? How watu tutashika wote? It's about, it's about culture change. Let's stop doing this. It is possible to make our country clean again. It's possible to make our country as righteous as possible, as white. Listen, let me finish. It's possible to make our beautiful country as white as snow again, but with a culture change, with a positive mindset, and with a willing heart. Jiru, I am willing. And with the power of God the Almighty, let me tell you, we shall transform this country.
Okay,
absolutely.
That one will still need a lot of debate. But in fact, personally, any person who will come with like a strategy like of hanging people, I can support him. That is the extreme I've gone when it comes to.
Yes, I may come with that one.
I'm not saying that you change your manifesto to that level, but no. I'm just saying some of Kenyans are desperate that we feel the only way in which Kenya can be able to change. That is my own way. I'm not saying it's not the feeling of the platform. In my own way, I think Kenya has to reach a level whereby we have to think of killing the corrupt people in Kenya. Why? Because those corrupt people, they are destabilizing everything in the nation. How do you wanakula pesa ya watoto shule hatuwezi soma? There are so many things. So there's something before I leave the issue of taxation, and then I come to the question which people are asking here.
Yes,
this is what is happening. There are some things which Ruto introduced, and I want to hear what you could have done on them. Ruto introduced something he calls SHA.
Yes,
there's something he calls SHA. Ruto introduced something he calls housing tax, whereby he is taxing people manyumba zijengwe. And he is also talking of UHC, Universal Health Care. So I've just talked of those three things. And these three things, Kenyans feel they have not been brought the right way, or is like they are corruption dense. So these three programs, that is SHA, housing tax, and UHC, that is Universal Health Care. Is it possible? Would you be able to explain to me how you could have brought them to Kenya? If you are the president, what could you have done to them? How could you have implemented SHA? How could you have implemented housing tax? And how could you have done UHC?
Yeah, number one, any system of health that can be able to enhance efficiency in the health sector, bringing health closer to the people in terms of adequate and access to health facility, access to health, access to drugs, I think it would be welcome. And SHA was a good thought, but the implementation process was the challenge. And I believe that SHA still can be polished, and we can also borrow from NHIF the positives and the good that came out of NHIF, plus the good and the positives that are in SHA. We combine together, we streamline the process, but of course with a very high and competent staff who are not about political gain, but about the health of the 55 plus million Kenyans. So I want to say that if it was my administration, I could have, first of all, said that NHIF was not 100% bad. Neither is SHA 100% bad. It's about borrowing the good from each one of them, collapsing into one or merging into one, and then implementing what is good from each of these two systems. Because as I said earlier, that NHIF is not bad 100%, SHA is not bad 100%. There are some good things from SHA, good things from NHIF. Let us borrow and implement. Now, the housing.
Madam President, on that issue of SHA, are you aware that there is a report which was saying that Mr. Ruto used 104 billion to bring SHA?
Yes.
And when Uhuru was just leaving presidency, it is said that actually we needed 600 million to revitalize our health model into a more stable and working NHIF platform as it was. But you can see Ruto brought this SHA with another hefty charge of 104 billion to Kenyans. So it's not a matter of like taking what is good. To us, we feel it was a corruption heaven. It was a corruption heaven. It was not even something about providing health to Kenyans. That's the issue.
Unfortunately, I think I spoke about it sometimes. I think last month that yes, the government. Why would government spend 104 billion? Do you know how much is that? It can give us another super highway, like 3 of them. Unfortunately, so where did this money go? And this is the biggest challenge that we are having. People are just stealing in government. Probably that is why you are thinking of hanging them when Madam President is saying they should not be hanged, because there's so much debt in government. Yeah, but okay, it's not really about hanging, because how many are you going to hang? It's about change of character. Why should we steal 104 billion that is supposed to give us, that is supposed to give services to the people of Kenya? And that is why Kenyans were against SHA, because of the corruption bit of it. And most of the projects that are happening in government, some of them might be good, but the corruption bit of it, look at the, what do we call it? The Pride of Africa, the Kenya Airways project. What these guys who wanted to
Adani, it was called Adani.
Yes, look at the Adani project. Look at it again. Look at the corruption part of it. I think if President Ruto can be able to totally remove corruption from his government, some of these projects that he's proposing are viable. But unfortunately,
no.
Let me finish. The problem is that his projects are deals that have corruption in them, unfortunately.
Yeah, nilikuwa nikitaka tu kukusimamisha hapo kidogo. With an honest opinion, Ruto has no capacity to fight corruption. Because, for your information, maybe if you have been following news, Ruto has been rated as it's not us, we are just saying, Ruto has been rated as the most corrupt man in the world. I think it was done number 2 or number 1. So maybe somebody could say that maybe they are not honest people. It is a report from elsewhere. But you know, we always, it's an opinion. Why Ruto and not Museveni or not another guy from Ivory Coast? Why Ruto? So the question, so I think when we are talking, we are saying Ruto to fight corruption. We are trying to ask for things he cannot. So Ruto cannot fight corruption because he doesn't seem to have that mindset that he can fight corruption.
That goodwill.
No, he doesn't have it. So that's why it would be. I would not even ask Ruto about corruption. I would not. It would be like asking a fish, do you want to stay in water? Yeah, I cannot ask Ruto about corruption. So let's be a little bit honest about that. I feel what you say. Let me ask you a question. Nimeona inaulizwa hapa na father. Are you aware that the University of Nairobi is corrupting? Your story.
Yes, I saw it in our papers, and away from seeing it in our papers, we know this process.
Yeah. So let me now ask you a question.
Sorry.
Let me ask you about a question about now our education, which father is asking. So father is asking, what strategy do you have to revive our dying universities? Our universities are dying, it is true. I studied in more universities some time back. Is no longer a vibrant university which gave us degrees and have full free education to university level. I think that when hapo father anajaribu, I don't know if you can commit to full free education. Hiyo ni father ameweka, maybe you can tell us in terms of that. Kibaki tried the basic education, that is the lower class and nini, but maybe to ask you as you try to answer Danidario, in Kenya, do we have free education, free primary? They always talk of free primary education. Is it free from your own assessment?
Thank you. We don't have free education in Kenya at the moment, unfortunately. But during Kibaki's reign, he tried to introduce free education. But as time went on with the successive administrations, they have not been able to implement Kibaki's heart for free education. Kenyans, my biggest singular responsibility is to give free education from university, from nursery school to the university level. That's the greatest gift that any president who has Kenyans at heart can give to the people of Kenya. When I see the corruption of major universities like my heart, the University of Nairobi, I feel so bad. And I ask myself, don't we have people who are thinking about education being the anchor upon which sustainable development, growth, and progressive nation is archived, is pegged? Unfortunately, we kill education, we kill the whole country. So one thing that I'm going to do is to facilitate free education from nursery all the way to university, and we have enough money for this. The second thing, I know Kenyans, I have been following closely through the media, are demanding for the return for bursary to remain. But Kenyans, to you, we don't need bursary. All the money that is paid by governors, by senators, by MPs as bursary, if corrupts in one basket, that money is enough to support free education in Kenya. So instead of one parent getting 1,000 bursary, 2,000 bursary, 3,000 bursary, no. We are going to corrupt all the fund that brings the bursaries and the CDF into being, into money that can be able, into one basket that can be able now to support free education. And something else is that we must also bring our education standards to another level. What are we talking when we have certificates that are manufactured in universities, certificates that are bought in universities, students not having qualified? Basically, we have killed our universities. And then we have universities in every village. This should not happen. We must bring the standards of universities back. We must bring the standards of university back. What about competence of lecturers? This is something else that we should check into. So it's a wholesome responsibility to anyone who would want to change, and specifically myself as the 60th president. These are some of the things that my administration is looking into. Look at what Kenyans have suffered with the new university models. Until now, there are children who have suffered because they are being put in several band 1, band 2, band 3, band 4, where they don't belong. The implementation of this have brought universities to confusion, and even has taken some time that is supposed to be used to take universities to the next level. So in this regard, we must streamline also the courses and the quality of education in our universities. Equally, we need to look at the entire curriculum, even at the primary and the secondary level. With the CBC, there is so much confusion. Yeah, there is so much confusion in terms of should JSS be in primary school or should it be in secondary schools? So all this confusion must be streamlined. And I think with free education in Kenya, we are going to address this. Something else is that our teachers must be paid well. These are public servants. We cannot have elected representatives earning so much money while our technocrats like teachers and medics are earning so little. especially our teachers. These are the people who impact knowledge in us. The moment you are born, a few years, you are with them, until you grow up. So I would say that teachers must be given a conducive running environment. Recently, did I see teachers who are denied money for hardship areas, allowances? This must be reinstated, because if a teacher is working in Madera, Moyale, the Northern Belt, and you don't motivate this teacher by giving them hardship allowance, what are you telling to that teacher when they get to the classroom? The other thing is that we must create a conducive environment for running. I was in Northeastern the other day in Garissa, somewhere in Garissa, between Garissa and Wajir, and children are technically running under trees in a public school. In this day and era, this is not possible. Infrastructure development in school must be in tandem with the transition. And these are some of the things that my administration is ready to focus on. I can't wait to take over this government, my friend.
So, madam, that one is quite enough.
In
the interest of time, there is something maybe Mwamba, hiyo swali yako, maybe you can answer hii swali ya Mwamba. What will you do in office in day one? Umechaguliwa leo, utafanya nini? Utaanzia wapi?
Mwamba, my first day in office is to ensure that free primary education, free primary, secondary, and university education is effected with immediate effect. Number 2, my administration, the first day is to ensure that our health systems are working. Because if I'm not healthy as a president, I will not work. So those 2 things. Number 3, those 3 things is my first day in office. I'll also put systems and structures into place to ensure food on the table for every family in the Republic of Kenya. With those 3, my day one will be full.
Okay. I want us to talk briefly about, and maybe, Madam President, before I continue to the next issue about coalition, from your explanation, I see your government will need a lot of money to work on. So please make sure you are able to explain to Kenyans where all that money will be coming from. Kenyans need to be convinced. Your government seems as if like it will be a paradise. Your government looks like a paradise. And I want to see how.
A lot of money. Yeah.
You are painting for me a paradise, and I want to see how that paradise will be implemented.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but that one is something which is like you have packaged your information so well that you are representing a government which I don't see any African who can offer it. I'm just seeing the first one here. I hope you mean what you say. Let's talk about coalition.
Watch the space. Watch the space, Gino. Watch the space.
Yeah. If that's what it's like, you are telling us that we don't need to be where we are. Some of us who are in abroad, you're actually painting a country better than abroad.
Yes, let them come back to their country. We need Americans to come here and seek for medical help. We need those who are in UK to come here and join our universities here. We no longer need Kenyans to go out there. How can we take Kenyans to UAE, to Asia, to jobs? Come on. People around the world will be coming here in this country to look for jobs. So we are ready. I wish 2027 is tomorrow.
There is a question, Kidogo. Jib's Corner is also talking about is also talking about maybe there is a place you say that you'll not be borrowing, and maybe you say that you'll borrow. Yes. So you'll need to do that clarification.
No. I did not say that I'll borrow anywhere, because my manifesto is very clear that we are not going to borrow any money. I'm very clear that we are not borrowing.
Okay, maybe let me ask you sorry, Mwamba, before I go to coalition.
Yes.
It is true, because energy and industrialization are related. Let me give you the specific. There is a guy from, I don't know, somewhere in Asia who was talking about energy in Kenya. Ni vile na sahau jina yake. Hata alituanisha serikali ya Kenya sana. I think 1 month ago, he is a guy from, I don't know if it is Vietnam or where. Let me tell you a paradox about our energy. I understand in Kenya, we are talking of renewable energy, all this type, but if you look like even smaller countries than ours, for you to grow industrialization and manufacturing and jobs, you need energy and cheap one. Uh, Many countries, there are so many countries which have more energy than they require. To be specific, like China, they built a dam or a hydropower in one of their big river. It is called the Yatize River, Three Gorges Dam, which is producing too much energy in megawatts. They have a lot of energy they are producing, and it's not only in dams around. They are doing hydro, nuclear, so many to make sure that they have surplus energy. In Kenya, we barely have energy. Like in terms of maybe I can give you values in terms of megawatt. You know them. If you look like our main sources of energy, Seven Forks, one dam produces 40, another one 80. So if you look like uh, our energy in terms of watts, in terms of megawatts, we are like around 2,000 megawatts, Kenya. And that one is very small. And so when you look at that energy and the population, 2,000 megawatt versus 55 million people. And then you look at even like very small countries which are having like 10 times our power. Vietnam, that guy from Vietnam said that the amount of power they have is like 100 times the amount of power we have in Kenya. And you cannot be able to do anything industrialization without energy, which is cheaper and which is available without fluctuation. In Kenya, we talk about rationing. That is how wakuwe na stima leo, how wasikuwe na stima leo. We are talking of we want people to be welders. We want people to be like I have like a chips cafe where sitaki kuwa nikitumia kuni. I want a chips cafe. I want cheap power. Nikienda pale hata kama mimi ni mtu wa chip, hiyo chips ya nini naweka hiyo kitu tunachoma stima. So can you explain to me what is your model towards increasing power 10 times? Because we need to increase Kenyan power 10 times, at least 10 times. Utafanya nini hapo?
Yeah, very well. Three things. Number one, we have not yet exhausted our hydro sources of power. The hydro sector, the hydro source of power generation is quite huge in this country. And my administration will exhaust the sources of hydro generation of power. And many a times we have said in this country that sometimes we experience so much rain, but how much does that translate into beneficial rain, and especially in terms of energy and food? So these are some of the things that my administration will check into, including also, we have also not exhausted our wind energy. I know we have only done Gong, and a few more, but we have still not exhausted our wind energy sources. The other one is geothermal power. Apart from Naivasha, we need to expand our geothermal spaces, geothermal power generation spaces, so that we have adequate energy that can be able to run industries in this country. Equally, every other country is now, including China, Hungary, and even the US, the UK, is swiftly moving into solar power, solar power generation. So this is an area that we would want to explore by ensuring that we give budgets. We would want to have our technocrats on matters energy explore this field very well, because it is an area, by the way, that can reduce the cost of energy in a very big way. So these are some, and especially industries. Industry can be able to leverage on solar energy, a big deal. I think there are some companies in China today that are almost moving to 100% solar powered industries. And if we move this way, and I think we are going to have our industries achieve much more. Even our households, at our household level, solar energy must be something that must be prioritized by the government. And it's about civic education, because most of the people of Kenya at the grassroots may not know even what we mean by solar power. They will only wait for Kenya Power. But there are other diverse sources of power that can be able to leverage on and ensure that we reduce the amount of energy that we are using for industrialization and for household consumption.
Okay, I get that one.
Yeah.
Now, all those things which you are explaining, maybe you need
Yeah.
to tell me how you will put capacity on Kenya. Because one of the problem we are having, and this one I will tell you, and with a rider, is that there's no any country which can industrialize you. But we have seen a sickness in Kenya and in Africa, whereby we are jostling between Europeans, Chinese, and Americans who should come and develop our 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 infrastructure. SGR has been done by Chinese. Thika Superhighway was done by Chinese. There are those projects which were done by French maybe a long time ago. Like Seven Forks were done by Germans, two of them I know. So the question which I'm asking you, do you think Kenyans have capacity to do SGR? Let's say like we need to implement another SGR in Kenya. Will you go for Chinese or you can look for Kenyans to do it?
Very well, thank you. I'll balance the two. Definitely, there is something to borrow from the Chinese. Definitely, there are Kenyans who can be able to deliver. We must be able, as a country, to ride on multi and bilateral friendship of nations, knowing that there are some nations that have progressed on matters technology, on matters artificial intelligence. We must tell ourselves that there is always something to borrow from nations. So you cannot say that 100% Kenyans will do it. However, we can have a standardized legislation that will be able to guide how much we engage a country like China on such a particular project, because we can agree as a country 80-20% that if we have to do an SGR, 80% Kenya, 20% borrowed expertise from another country. That way we are able to achieve more, because we will not cheat ourselves that we don't have anything to borrow from China and other progressive nations. We have something to borrow, but we can't say that we take 80% borrowing from China, the staffing, that people are coming to work from China, that materials are coming from China, no. We can deploy a standard which will be like a percentage of about 80-20 on any project that you have to undertake. Thank you.
Yeah, that one we just need commitment, because that one is just a policy, because frankly speaking is that foreign nations have over-indulged in African nations. That's when we know that. We just need somebody who has more commitment on that. So that's why I don't want to go deep into that, because that one is purely from the commitment of a leader, trying to look at what needs to be done between foreigners and the people in that country, because that's where we are losing a lot of jobs. We are losing a lot of jobs, and we are unable, and also allowing also Kenyans to be exploited. Sometimes Chinese will say that we will say that Chinese are doing that job, but they happen not to come to bring their people to do. They get Kenyans on a low wage. That is also something. So there is a lot to be done in that area. So there is something. So there is just a comment. Maybe I can. There's a comment from Father. I can put for you here. They are trying. Maybe this one you can think about it. Father is saying that on energy you can also allow private power generation and you get tax. I think that's just a point she is trying to advise you. Like,
oh, beautiful.
Yeah, sometimes we see like KTDA, KTDA produces power. So maybe those are people you can partner with. I think it's just a comment he was trying to advise you.
They are called independent power producers, and they do a lot of they give us backups.
So I want us now, so that in the interest of time, and I don't want to overkeep you here, I want us to talk two things that now we finish: coalition and the tribes. So there is something I wanted to ask you about coalition. In the modern time of Kenya, we have seen that people go to elections in coalition, especially when it comes to the president and the deputy president, and every person comes with his base. They call it base. So can you explain to me, like, to what extent do you agree in politics of coalition? And are you willing to look for other people within Kenya who are also having the same interests which you are having? And can you enter into a coalition? And if you enter into a coalition, if those people, you agree with them either to be the president or the deputy president, can you agree on that?
Sorry, please come up again. I lost you at some point.
What I was saying, I'm talking about coalitions. We see like in Kenya, people come in coalition these days. Raila Odinga was with the Kalonzo on a coalition pact and Martha Karua. We can see there's Ruto and Uhuru. It was a coalition where everybody is coming, and these coalitions are coming in the pretext of tribe. They are not coming in. They are not coming in the pretext of like qualification.
Service delivery.
Yeah, they are not coming. It is in the pretext of tribe. So the question which I was asking you is, are you interested in coalition politics?
I'm not really interested in coalition politics. I think bottom line, by the way, you realize that my presidential journey will not major on history and the culture of politics in Kenya, because what is the purpose of coalitions? And what is the reason behind this tribal balancing and all these tribal kingpins and all this tribal politics? I think bottom line mine is people with competence who can deliver to the people of Kenya come on board. It really doesn't matter. I will not go into, I don't know what balancing, what political party politics. We have to reduce on that. We have to reduce on that completely. And of course, coalitions in Kenya are all about myself and you and I, in terms of the political gains. What about Wanjiko Akoapi in all these coalitions? So for me, it is to birth a government that will benefit Wanjiko. I'm not into thinking about, in fact, I'm telling people, I'm organizing my house right now. It is those people who feel that Madam Esther is the brand and is the next president of the country, depending on how she has shaped herself, it is us to join her. But me moving out to go and looking for coalition, not at the moment. I'm not sure I'm ready for that. I think I'm ready to form a government entirely that will be able to take care of Kenyans without necessarily going into too much political games and political party politics.
On the issue of tribalism,
yes, as you wind up, I have to take care of something. Yes,
I understand. Yeah. So on the issue of tribalism, do you think as Kenyans we are tribal, and why do you think in Kenya tribes become center of mobilizations in politics, and how are you going to reduce that?
I must say we are highly tribal, but this must come to an end. A human being is a human being. A Kenyan is a Kenyan. A leader is a leader, regardless of the region you are coming from. I wouldn't want to hear people say that Madam Waringa is coming from Mount Kenya. She wants to deliver Mount Kenya ports, what. Forget about all this. I'm coming in as the sixth head of state and government, Republic of Kenya. It doesn't matter whether I'm coming from Nyanza, from Turkana, from Mount Kenya, as long as I have the heart and the will to transform this country. That's what makes it, that's the bottom line. I wouldn't mind having a deputy president from whatever tribe. That is not the tribe is not the issue at all. And Kenyans, we must run away from that. For the longest time, we have deployed tribal issues in our political arrangements. We have not delivered Kenya, and Kenya is suffering. It's a high time that we stop what we have done before and move into new arrangements, into new spaces, new ways of doing things, new thinking that can be able to transform the governance space of the country. So for me, tribe is nowhere in my space. Anybody who has qualified to take Kenya to the next level, karibu sana. Welcome on board.
Okay. Yeah, thank you for that. But just as a rider, you will still have to think of how you'll be able to do regional balancing, because it's a debate which still Kenyans up to now they feel. So let me ask you the last question so that I can also now allow other people to come and maybe discuss what they had. But you don't need to be there because you have to go and do other things. But people just come and maybe you can be listening on the background, the comments of people. But we will share the link so that people can come and ventilate what they have. So when we are talking of a presidential election, we talk of short-term goals and long-term goals. When we are talking of long-term goals, that one is not easy to see because that one is a good Kenya. But in short term, what are the simple things you see Kenyans can be able to do in your presidency, they are not doing now. In just like a minute.
Very well. I think there is a gentleman who asked about what I would do on day one in my government. Day one, if not the first 100 days of my administration. And I said, first of all, a country without sufficient supply of food, a food surplus nation is not a country. So my administration, first of all, is to ensure every family is fed. Number two, as a mother to the nation, ensure that every child is in school. And below that, underline that my administration will ensure that we remove street families, we give them shelter. I'm not sure it is with the Mama wa Taifa administration that we will have a child in the streets of the Republic. Not only Nairobi, Eldoret, Kisumu, Mombasa. You will never find a street family during my administration. And cleaning up the city also. Anyway, that is a long term. Another short term is education and health. We must, with my administration, 100 days, we must ensure that our children are in school. We must deploy mechanisms and structures to ensure that every child is in the classroom and quality education is provided. Finally, health. Health is a key basic need for all Kenyans. This is something that within 100 days, I can't imagine a granny in the village unwell, not able to access medical care because the dispensary is kilometers and kilometers away. She goes to that dispensary, it has no medicine. No. Sitacheka sana in my 100 days. I think it's about,
Okay,
let me tell you, Njiru, it's not only making people of Kenya happy, but it is all about service to humanity. It is about service to God. It's about selfless service to the people of this country. It's about doing what is right for them. So it is, I would not say that the biggest responsibility will be being answerable to Kenyans. No, it is about doing what is that is good, that is admirable for a human being. That one, I'll do it. I'll do it selflessly, 100%. Like the way I have attended this interview, I think for the last 2 hours now.
Yeah, okay. In the interest of time, you can give your closing remark in 2 minutes, and where you can now like tell Kenyans like why do you think you are the right choice to eject Ruto out of power? Because there's that dialogue as I began here that Kenyans are looking for a replacement. It's not a joke. Kenyans are looking for a replacement. So tell us, why do you think you are that replacement?
Very well. The replacement is here because this is something that is in my heart, to give Kenyans a conducive environment to live in their country. It is in my blood system, and that is why Kenyans have known me. If you Google Ambassador Esther Waringa, public service governance, you will find the number of projects that I've done pertaining to realization of good governance in Kenya. I have held several multi-agency summits where I've invited players in government, key people in government, so that we discuss together. Like the last one we did, the theme was "Come, let's reason together." I invited the DCI, DPP, judiciary. I invited the public service, and I told them, "Come, let's reason together," because we have the answers to this country. We don't need to go to other countries to look for answers to our country here. The answers are within. We need to employ goodwill. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, I'm ready to bring you the most progressive, the most transformative, and the most authentic government, non-corrupt government that will see all Kenyans enjoy life in their own country, that will see Kenyans in diaspora come back to their country, that will see the Republic of Kenya being the centerpiece that holds the continental socio-economic development together, that will see nations of the world position Kenya as the most progressive, the most advanced, and the most industrialized country in the region and around the world. Truly, Kenyans, we can. It's only a willing heart and a heart that has high moral standards. And this is from none other than Mama wa Taifa, the 6th President, Head of State and Government, Republic of Kenya. together we can. I don't know whether I'm supposed to give my number or our number for the presidential campaign desk or not.
Yeah, you can share. There are those people who could be willing to join your
Yes.
campaign. This one is also a time also to encourage people to join your team if they want.
Yes.
But you see, like that issue which I was telling you that Watu Wanyongwe, so many people are very frustrated. This is Yusuf who is saying that he can only vote for somebody who will kill thieves. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, but people are frustrated.
Unfortunately, yes, people are frustrated, lakini hatutawanyonga, lakini take my word that we are going to take serious action. I think you can see my face when I say sitacheka na wenye wataimba pesa ya serikali. Yeah, so thank you. Those of you progressive and patriotic Kenyans, our party ideology is patriotism. Those patriotic Kenyans who would want to join me in my presidential campaign, kindly call us on campaign desk 0720 925 867. 0720 925 867, and your call shall be received, and we shall be able to respond to you appropriately. And we are warm welcoming every Kenyan on board. By the way, ours is not divide and rule. Ours is unite and rule. Ours is not divide and rule. Ours is unite and rule. So we want to bring everybody on board so that we can be able to form the most progressive nation. In case that you call that number and during office hours you don't get us, you can call 0728 160 890. 0728 160 890. 0728 160 890. You can be able to reach out to our office, and we shall be able to come together and get solutions for our country. I remain yours, Esther the Sixth. Asante.
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much, Madam President. We are so privileged to have had you and to listen to you. You are the first presidential candidate to come and talk to us.
Thank you.
May God give you another opportunity. We will encourage you to come, especially when now the politics will be very hot. I know it will continue now keeping heat. Because we know there is a lot of experiences in which you'll be able also to learn along the way. I know there are some things which you have been able to pick from here. Go ahead reason with your team, by the way. Your story ya kunyonga watu, by the way, it is becoming serious. So I'm not saying it like utani. Unfortunately, Midwanaina kuna swali alikuwa nauliza, but I don't think I'll be able to ask it now. Maybe for the future hiyo tutauliza. But when you think about that, Kenyans have so many problems with their government that they don't believe on anything. And some of the people who are coming in the front, people feel like they are the same people of the same. Like people don't see reform with some of the teams coming up without mentioning the name. So that's why I'm trying to say that we really need a very corrected person to change Kenya. And I hope you will be able to gear towards that. Maybe just as an advice to you, make sure that your team is very focused. Mostly like in American countries and European countries, I always see like they have very serious teams which are doing campaigns. And
a very good serious team yenye haina maneno mingi. A non-corrupt team, by the way, very non-corrupt.
So maybe because like for example, in the American concept, there is something they call like an exploration committee. An exploration committee is where you are able to look at your possibilities of becoming the president. So you also need to do that research, and maybe you also need to inform us that based on what is happening, what are your probable chances of becoming the president. So those are the things which you have to continue looking at it. Anyway, we appreciate and thank you for joining us. Thank you and congratulations, and keep fighting. We need somebody.
Asante sana. Thank you for hosting me. And I want to believe that as you have hosted me as the first presidential candidate, so shall it be. I will be the first to take over government. You know, I always tell people as I do my parting show that I hold the keys. I hold the keys to State House of the 6th government. So nobody else can take the keys from me. Anyway, together we can. Asanteni sana na Mungu awabariki.
Okay,
Shukran.
thank you very much. I appreciate. Nimeshukuru.
Thank you.
Thank you, and
Bye-bye.
you can leave at your pleasure.
Okay, very well. I'm leaving now.
Thank you. Haya, kuna watu nasikia wakisema Rigijia kuna interview saa hii na wanasema it is hot. Kuna watu wanasema at 40,000 watching saa hii. So kama kuna mtu anataka kukuja kureact before tuende tukasikilize Julius Kanyoro, you ananiambia nisome comment yako. By the way, first 100 days Madam President the 6th, we need to hear that Ruto and Team Manjambazi are behind bars. Yeah. Yes, Madam President, you need to know that people are very serious. Kuna venye like watu wanasikia hawezi samea, mtu amewafanyia vibaya hawezi samea. Yeah, so Kanyoro, you also encouraged her. We appreciate for that. So wale wanataka kupiga namba yake, they can call. So those keys will be snatched from Madam if she is not focused on thieves. Yeah. So I don't know kama kuna mtu anataka kuingia studio to react to what Madam Esther was talking about as she continues to ponder the information. Unaweza ingia. Kama sio hivyo, I will just close the show na niseme muende msikilize Rigiji. We can talk later. In that note also, Masaya jioni pia, I will also be having a very serious announcement I will do. So munaweza kuja musikilize pia. I will be having a very serious assignment as part of what we are doing. So wacha niingize neutral. So neutral side to the reaction to Madam President is not there. You can react. Can you tell me, have you seen a president in the making, or what have you seen?
Jerry, thank you very much, and to your guests tonight. I think you did a wonderful job to invite a Kenyan with so much energy, to the point where she thinks that she'll be a presidential, scoop the victory type of person. She is not going to win anything in the Kenyan elections. She's one of many who will be touted to, to give us some sort of enjoyment during the campaigns. We've seen them before, and we always wish them luck. Can you imagine Wajakoya, a guy who was involved and mentioned adversely in the situation of the former foreign minister, Robert Ouko? Wajakoya was in a special branch. He worked at Nyati House. He listened to the conversations, what happened, and he sought exile in the UK. We were listening to him touting himself as a presidential candidate. He's always been an agent of the state. Even Kina Raila, they know that. All these Azimio people. So when I see the guests that you invited there, with so much energy, and she's a smart person, wasting her time saying to us a big lie in her last statement there. Her last sentence was that she will be, the 6th. You come to a show and you say you'll be the 6th. And you're addressing how many people? 27. Rigathi Gachagua on the other side is addressing 40,000 people on Obina show. Now, I am not attacking you, Jiru. I am saying that this person that you invited should have been talking to us about other things which are important. And there are so many things that she had to speak about, but not to come and give us jokes that she's going to be a presidential candidate. We don't, we need to be serious.
No.
There is a person who is changing.
There are 3 years to reshape a campaign. There is 2 years to reshape a campaign. our campaign maybe will climb that.
So you think, acha niweke hiyo video ndio sasa hata kama unanitukana unitukana.
No, you cannot say that. She has to start from somewhere. Is like now you are now saying that at this issue yet to new puss. That's what that's what I'm getting from.
No, sitaki kumtukana. No. See hivyo. She, in fact, I respect that lady. The way she has presented there was absolutely, fantastic. But these are the lies.
We will wait for Wamunyoro to finish his interview, and we will also recheck what he has done. Wamunyoro has been in politics for long, and I hope it is not the euphoria which people are trying to go through it. Unajua saa zingine, so me, I want to give people a fair chance, and I know that she is on the right trajectory. Hata wewe neutral ukianzia safari yako sasa, ukianzia kusema you want to be a president, unaanzianga peke yako, you recruit your wife, your children, unaenda hivyo ukipanda, and sasa kijiji yenu ina
Njiru, please, Njiru, hebu acha jokes. Unaona, there are serious things.
I believe in small steps. I believe in small steps that give big results. This is not a life where.
So have you ever asked yourself why Wangari Maathai, for example, never became a Kenyan president, even when she stood? Wangari Maathai.
You see,
and she was such an iconic figure.
But it doesn't mean that other people cannot start and they build on the same visions. Everybody has his own life. Everybody has his own life. Remember, there are so many people in life. People have said they cannot be president, and they ended up being one. So we cannot just clamp people.
So how many votes do you think she's going to fetch? How many votes do you think she's going to fetch?
I don't own future. I don't own future.
Yeah. So now what I'm saying is, let's try and be serious. I'm very serious.
Let me tell you,
the guest was.
No, I'm serious, and I'm saying future belongs to God. I don't disregard any efforts which a human being is making, because actually they can become what they are saying. Wewe ni vitu ngapi hata wewe umejitakia na zikatendeka? How many things have happened in your life and they have happened?
Sasa unajua wewe shida yako ni unapenda kunini, unajua vile kunini, you know how to go around in circles. I'm asking you a simple question, and then you're taking me around in circles. I asked you, why do you think Wangari Maathai did not win? And let's take this lady seriously, and who you invited here. We take her seriously. And then we ask this question, why do you think Wangari Maathai never won the elections in Kenya? Or why do you think Charity Ngilu also was not taken seriously, even though she was a good potential candidate? Why do you think that Martha Karua has been treated the way she has been treated by the political class? And now what I'm saying is that someone like the guest that you invited today has a lot of potential to do some fantastic things in public space in Kenya or outside Kenya. It would just be a waste of her resources and time to say that she wants to. Do you think she's like Bernie Sanders, for example?
Soma hiyo comment ya Yusuf ndio nasoma. I will tell my girlfriend that I want to be an MP. Akinibrush vile speaker anafanya, nitafunza yeye. How do you kill a dream?
So, kitu tunaweza fanya, tunaweza ku debate the issues that she brought up in this interview, but the issue about Nakati, she wants to be president, that one is just a joke, because we find so many people, like you even hear CG Peter Salasia there saying that he wants to be the next president of Kenya. Peter Salasia. When some of us, we want an Ibrahim Traore, who we can't even see right now amongst the candidates.
Ibrahim you are saying you are looking for Ibrahim Traore, and you came to tell us that you are following somebody with 40,000 viewers now.
No. What I'm saying is that there's someone across the road there who is being viewed by 40,000 people. That's someone I don't really support. I don't support Kachagwa. Yeah, because he's part of Ruto. He's part of the major problem which Kenyans have right now. Right? But I went and someone sent me the link, so I watched the live. In fact, it's still going on. Yeah. And it's not as if he's saying things that we don't expect. But he is a crucial component of any change in Kenya because he has so much information that he can share with us. So he's an important person, you know. Bro, you know this. He's an important person, yeah, in the way Kenyans will change the system of governance in the next few years. But right now, we have to look for an Ibrahim Traore. Not even Traore, the leader of Mali and Niger. Those three leaders, they're coming from the military. I don't care where our next leader is coming from, but it has to be an Ibrahim Traore. And right now, we don't have that person. So ukileta mtu hapa, please we introduce, usimwambie ati akuja hapa atuambie ati yeye ni presidential candidate ya ati atapigiwa kura na watu 25. Hapana. Hiyo sasa unaona watu sasa watakasirika hapa. So akona ujuzi na yeye ni malkia kwa many ways, you know, she is absolutely very smart person. But I found it very difficult to believe what she was saying because she was beginning to talk like William Ruto, you know. At GO, Kenyans are hungry, what. Those are things we know. And there's a devolved system of governance. If you're not going to let the devolved system of governance to work, then you're now starting to be presidential. Now you want to own everything that happens in Kenya. You start micromanaging the country. And that's the way she was talking there. As we need someone who will be revolutionary. And that will happen. You know, it will happen. It will happen. And if it takes someone like Gachagua to push that person forward, I don't know who it is. Maybe Sijui, but it will happen. But I hope it's not one of the political class in Kenya at the moment. Unaona. So sitaki kumonopolize your discussion. Mimi tu nimesema hapa hivi, you're doing a good show. Even if we are 27 people, these are 27 people who are having meaningful conversations. Kule kwa Gachagua nilisikia akisema about, my boys, he's just talking about his 2 sons, you know. Sijui hapa niko na sijui kondoo na mbuzi sijui ndawachinja sijui nitachinjia kina Ubina, you know, populist stuff. Then I left the stage there because I think we were discussing.
Ndio huyo akiomba msamaha venye majenzi walikufa.
Hebu cheza hiyo tusikie.
There's a time you used to say, "Oh, President, don't kill me, don't kill my children. You're no longer scared to die." How many times can you die? Once. And nobody can die from morning to evening. You just snap like that and you are dead and buried. Life goes on.
Anyway,
I'm one Kenyan who was
tutaisikiliza baadaye. I don't want to go with it, Belfast. I just wanted to say that he is still uko kwa Ubina. I don't want to go ahead with it. I'll listen and we come and digest. Yeah, if you want to watch it, you can watch it from Ubina. There's no problem about that. You see, in politics, I want more commitment than just saying. I want more commitment. Personally, I feel character supersedes everything. I want to see more ingredients. I know somebody like Gachagua is being propelled by his repulsion from Ruto. You know that repulsion from Ruto because people don't want Ruto. Bwana Belfast. People don't want Ruto. So, you know, action and reaction are equal and opposite. Kama watu wataki hii wanataka hii. So, and Ruto has put himself at the center, not Ruto, Gachagua has put himself at the center of that rage. And that's why, hata Ruto akienda kufanya interview sahi, he cannot get this 40,000. This is not like a mainstream media. This is just a YouTube media. I don't think there is a Kenyan now, at a world, can get such a crowd. I don't think. Maybe you can tell me, maybe Belfast, without like over amplifying this, 40,000 people is amazing. I don't think there is a Kenyan current who can get such an audience. And it's not
That's
like
very true. That's very true. And I think why Kenyans
vitu zinabadilisha Kenya. He is not talking of vision. He is purely talking about the issues which happened in their previous government. It doesn't show capacity for the next regime, but people are listening. Or what do you think? Do you still, like, if I ask you, Bwana Belfast, do you still believe like Gachagua has capacity to mainstream Kenya into that progressive nation which we are looking for?
No, certainly it doesn't. But like I say, he can be part of the engine that mobilizes these Kenyans into action. Because, like, for example, in that interview, I heard him saying something very specific and historical. He said, he talked about when he used to go to school, then some kids were bullying him. And one time he came back crying, and his mother asked him, "Why are you crying?" And he said that because I was beaten up by another boy. His mother asked him, "So you don't have two hands. Why did you fight back? You think you're coming here?" His mother caned him. Of course, I don't vouch for that, but she taught him a lesson that you get attacked and bullied in school, you have to do what they have done to you. That's what you have to do a face-off. And he then said, I don't know if he was just carrying the crowds, just trying to be populist in his conversation there, but he then said that is the exact method he's using with William Ruto. In fact, he said that even when William Ruto used to bang the table in cabinet meetings, that he has disagreed with Gachagua. Gachagua used to bang the table back. There was a time they almost fought because of the way William Ruto used to treat him, thinking that Gachagua would step back. But I think what he was essentially saying is, right now he's surrounded by bodyguards and militia. Some are state funded securocrats, and then the others are his own informal militia. He is ready to fight. And I think this is going to be a nasty, brutal battle between him and Ruto, which will extend into Rift Valley. Unfortunately, it will happen. So I think he needs to manage this very carefully, because these people can't wait to blame him if something goes wrong. You can hear some people are suggesting that these attacks against Gachagua are that's planned by him so that he can shed those tears which are not legitimate. But we don't know. People can say all manner of things about what is happening around Gachagua. But the fact is, he has said that he will not sit back and watch. This is something I like about him, which we haven't seen in any Kenyan politician for a very long time. I think Raila Odinga is the only other politician who has done this before. And I think he has taken Raila Odinga's space. At the moment, he is the new Raila. Gachagua is the leader of the opposition. There's no other person. And if he handles this well, I think you spoke about it the other day brilliantly. If he doesn't handle this well, then it will just go with him. It will just slide away. But I think he needs to literally terrorize Ruto with his opposition. But he needs to do it in such a way that it is not just bring the crowds on board, but there has to be a final mission where we have an Ibrahim Traore. And I'm sure Gachagua is not such a proud man that he just wants to be president. I know that his court case has thrown out that thing where he was made an illegality because of corruption cases, what, chapter 6. But I don't think he's that type of person who really wants to be the next president. I don't think so. So he should really push a radical approach, a radical person. Unfortunately, we hear that it's Kalonzo Musyoka who is in Gachagwa's thinking. But if it's Kalonzo Musyoka, there has to be someone who will be an Ibrahim Traore in this kind of coalition. And I still don't see this person. You know, maybe this guy from Western Kenya, Okia Mtata. This is I think is the nearest person to Traore, honestly. Okia Mtata. I can't see any other person. So if they need to put someone like Okia Mtata as the strategic Ibrahim Traore, I think with a massive vote coming from all parts of Kenya, Okia Mtata, bro, Kenya will change. I did have some doubts about Okia Mtata because there used to be a rumor that he would be paid some money to go to court every case after case after case, you know, during Uhuru Kenyatta's time. But compared to the big, nasty, dirty things that politicians have done, what has Okia Mtata done that has literally, curtailed democracy in Kenya? So I would say that people should push such a person, you know, and Gachagua has this incredible position to do that. Him and other people who think like him that these things need to change. But hizi zingine za populist things and trying to show that I'm doing this for the youth generations. What? No, we need someone who will speak things that they're able to do revolutionary. Now, I think that Okia Mtata will probably need to be refined on messaging, because if he's not refined on messaging, then we still have a problem. But I think that, for example, right now, for me, I don't know about you and the audience, for me, that is my legitimate candidate, and Ibrahim Traore. It would be Okia Mtata, because of the way things have happened in Kenya, the political class, of which he doesn't come from that political class. You know, that time when people are thinking of Okia Mtata, he's the one where people will not think about that Siji is a lawyer, Siji what. He's that kind of candidate where people would, yani, unaona Njiru, ukipata huyo Okia, he will be that candidate where people don't care where he comes from. That is the truth. Kalonzo yeye na ndoto zake za zamani ameoza, hao wengine wote, lakini Okia comes into that big vote, the coalition that Kina Gachagua are trying to build, and Kenyans say this is the person we want. The only other negotiation that they can do is to, for example, think about a premiership position. And that means a change of the constitution, and we have an executive prime minister, and we just have a ceremonial president. And then that executive prime minister is someone like Okia Mtata, who is appointed by a president who has been elected by such a landslide victory. Otherwise, when niambie mtu
by
gani
the way,
atashinda?
Bwana Neutral, I'm just listening to Gachagua in the background, and interview yake leo, it looks very serious. It looks serious anyway. I would encourage people to listen, but it looks serious. Anyway, Bwana Blue, unless you say one or two things, me nataka kufunga kituo sasa. I need to do other things. But I have a very special announcement 5 hours from now or so. So please, you can join me for that announcement. Wewe sijui akina Helen
Wewe pia unataka kuwa presidential candidate?
I have a very special announcement today. Sorry. So James Corner, najua utakuwa umelala, but around the side in 4-5 hours I will be having a very special announcement. So if you want to join, you can join in.
Can you hear me, Jim? Can you hear me?
Hata mimi sinaweza kuwa presidential candidate kwa niko nini, but I have a very special announcement. So
can you hear me? Nataka kusema kitu moja tu hapa niende. Kitu moja tu. Unasikia? Sasa huyu Belfast amekuwa heta Wasape kwa muda mrefu sana, na mimi namwambia tu akuje roho safi, tujenge chama na yeye, mimi na Belfast tujenge chama na yeye, tuache wadui. Niambie Belfast hivyo. Lakini Belfast apendi Mkikuyu. Belfast anachukia Wakikuyu sana.
Njiru, your idiot is back here again. Hebu mwelimishe kidogo.
Belfast mimi si mtoto ati nimezaliwa jana. Nakujua vizuri sana.
Sasa wewe kazi yako ni kuja kwa channel kusema ati watu ni wakabila. Sasa hebu tuonyeshe uso yako ndio tukuone, ndio tujue wewe ni nani. Wewe ndio wale maspies. Wewe show your face. Show your face. Here is mine. Show your face. Show your face. Let us see you. Tukuone. Wacha kutapika hapo maneno. Tukuone. Show your face sasa hizi tukuone.
Hujaniona?
Weka face yako hapa tukuone.
Hujaniona?
Unashidanga hapo ni kama mtoto mdogo, umeweka peremende hapo kwa mdomo, unatukana watu ati tribalist. Wacha ufala wewe. Sema kitu ya maana. Usiharibu show.
Sawa basi bro. Mimi nasema aje. Ukuje
basi wachana na hizo za mtu ni mkabila. Wewe wacha. Wewe nani amekwambia ati mimi na yetu wa Kikuyu? Wacha ujinga. Ujinga uache.
Sina kujua, kwani sikujui.
Okay, tuseme mimi sipendi wa Kikuyu. Sasa umekuja hapa umesema. Sasa umefurahi. What's your point?
Mimi sina vita na wewe.
Unapenda kusikia sauti yako Sawa?
Nasema
Njiru, ndio watu wanakuharibia show. There are these people who are sent by kina nani, Kenny Kitumbi to come here and spoil your show.
Tuende tusikilize Gachagua sasa. Imeisha.
Toa huyu kijana kabisa.
Imeisha. Bye.